Hey, what's up guys? Kruxe here bringing you another build. In this particular one, we're going to be focusing on the dagger pistol with the short bow as the other weapon set. So let's get right into it. Let's start off with the traits. Alright guys, as you can see, the three lines that we're going to be using are going to be Deadly Arts, Trickery, and Daredevil. Now let's talk about the traits and why they work for this build. So Deadly Arts, there really isn't much to talk about because it's pretty much standard. You can kind of mess around with the last one, the last trait here. A lot of people go for Improvision. I tend to like Executioner. I just like the extra damage when the person is below 50% because it helps me get the kill a lot faster for my team. In Trickery, I did modify it a little bit. Normally, I see a lot of people go for Thrill of the Crime. I tend to go for Haste. And the reason why I go for Haste is because Haste allows you to execute a rather large combo in a very short amount of time. So it helps you just dish out a ton of damage. And I know that you get all these boons from Thrill of the Crime, which are nice, but the swiftness I don't really need because I have constant swiftness up with Dash. Dash is like my go-to in this line. And also, let's see, and Fury I don't need either because I get it from Haste as well. So the only really thing you could argue there is that you can get Might, and it's for you would be giving this for your whole team. So really, it's not that big of a deal. I definitely go for Bountiful Theft, though, because the Vigor is awesome. And you're going to find that in this build, you're going to be very, very mobile, and you're going to get a lot of endurance refund. But what I mean by that is you're going to be able to use a lot of abilities that are going to basically give you a bunch of endurance, which is good because you are going to rely heavily on moving around and making sure you are not tagged. The next talent or trait, is Sleight of Hand, and that's just kind of a go-to. It's got many uses. You can interrupt with it. You can keep somebody pinned down for a nice hard backstab, or just to execute a nice little combo. So that's it for that line. Let's go into Daredevil. Now in Daredevil, I made this choice specifically, Brawler's Tenacity, and the reason why is because I'm using Channeled Vigor, and Channeled Vigor is a physical skill, and Brawler's Tenacity, every time you use a physical skill, you get you reduces the cooldown. Physical skills have reduced cooldown, and also you get endurance back. Excuse me, I'm getting a little tongue-tied. So you get endurance back, and you reduce the cooldown even further of Channeled Vigor, which is now at 16 seconds, which is amazing. Next, I go for Pulmonary Impact, and the reason why is because with Sleight of Hand and with my 4 ability, I can interrupt and cause a lot of damage with the proc of Pulmonary Impact. And finally, Dash, and I mean, I don't really need to explain Dash too much. It removes conditions as you dash, and you can basically keep swiftness up consistently the entire time you're in a fight. So I usually always lean to Dash. The only other one that I would use would probably be Bound, but I feel like Dash is just the stronger trait in this line. So anyways, let's get into the ability selections and why we use them. Okay guys, let's talk abilities. Now, the very first ability is just the same as it is in Dagger, or anytime you have a dagger equipped in your main hand, it's going to be a series of 4 strikes. It's going to go Double Strike, Wild Strike, Lotus Strike, and Backstab when you are in stealth, so it'll be a hard backstab. You got Heartseeker, Shadow Shot, you got Headshot, which is perfect interrupt. It's a ranged interrupt, so it's very nice. And also procs your Pulmonary Impact every time you interrupt somebody. Black Powder will be your last ability. Now for your healing choice, always go Channeled Vigor. I think it's probably, with this build, it's probably the strongest heal. The only other one that I would recommend would be Withdraw. Withdraw because it has an 18-second cooldown and it removes conditions and movement and parrying effects and things like that. Your next ability, I would go with Blinding Powder. Now you can kind of change these up too. It's not completely restricted to that. Like you could change Blinding Powder for Shadow Refuge, but I'd rather have that instant kind of vanish so that I can move around the target and backstab, or I can get the hell out of the fight. So for condition removal and for a little bit extra precision, I have a Signet of Agility, which also refills endurance when you activate it, which again goes back to what I was speaking about earlier. This build is highly reliant on you having endurance and being very, very mobile. Shadow Step to also keep you mobile and also break stuns and things like that. And then finally for your elite skill is going to be Basilisk Venom. You could also change this for Impact Strike, which is also a very nice skill. And when using that, again, you'll get more endurance back. So if you think If you feel like you're lacking in the endurance department, or like, you know, maybe you're getting hit a little too much, you're not dodging enough, you're not able to get away from damage that much, maybe you switch to that. Use that every once in a while if you want to refill and stun. And finally, you know, obviously you're going to be using your short bow, so you have your number 5 ability, which moves you around a lot. So again, this goes back to the mobility of this build. So that's it for the selections. Now I'm going to go into combos and rotations. Okay, guys. So in case you are a new player to Thief and you don't really know the abilities that well, I'm kind of gonna go over exactly what the abilities do. So first one's gonna be, it's a series of abilities. This is your auto attack, right? So this is what you're gonna be seeing, and there's my quickness proc, and you can see how fast I'm attacking, right? Number 2 is gonna be your Heart Seeker, which is a leap forward and a stab. Then number 3 is gonna be your Shadow Shot, which is gonna teleport you over to your target when you shoot him. Your 4th is gonna be Headshot, which is an interrupt. You can see him getting oh, I just killed him. You can see the target getting dazed there. Very short daze, but it's an interrupt. I use it as an interrupt. And finally, your last ability is Black Powder, which causes blindness around the circle, and you get Heart Seeker out and go to stealth. And I'm going to show you at the end of this video, I'm going to show you other tricks that you can do with Black Powder that are beneficial not only for you, but for your team. And then finally, it's going to be, the healing skill is obviously just a regular healing skill. Blinding Powder is just an insta-stealth and blinds people around you. Also very nice when you are trying to heal up an ally, and you can just kind of hit that Blinding Powder, blind everybody that's trying to stomp, and kind of stealth you and your partner for a while. Finally, we got Signet of Agility. Once you pop that, I'll show you now, you'll get an endurance refill. So I pop that, you pretty much get 2 bars of endurance. And Shadow Step, you can Shadow Step a distance, teleport basically, and then if you hit it one more time within the amount of within the time range, you can go right back to the same spot. And Basilisk Venom will be a stun. Stuns for about 2 seconds. So those are the abilities in case you are a new player and you kind of just get an idea of what they do, okay? So now I'm going to go into the rotations. Okay, guys, so the first combo is right here on the screen for you guys. Now, this is the longer combo, and this is the one that you really want to utilize your quickness in. So whenever your quickness procs, you want to be able to try to do this this particular combo. It's going to go just like you see it on the screen. It's going to start off with a Shadow Shot, Double Strike, Black Powder, Heart Seeker, and while you're in the air with the Heart Seeker, you want to steal so you get that extra daze, and Backstab. So this is going to be a more control-heavy combo. So you're going to start off with your Basilisk Venom. You're going to make sure you have that procced up, and then I'm going to hope that I get my my quickness proc here. So let's see. Let's do the combo. And I zoomed in so you guys can kind of get a really good look at it. Let's see. So that guy's pretty much screwed, and he's just kind of sitting there. And I'll show you guys the same combo on the moving dummy, so I can show you guys how much the person really can't move unless they, you know, obviously use some abilities here and there. So just give me a sec. Okay, let's do it on this running dummy here. See what we get. So let's hit him from behind here. So there he goes. He can't go anywhere. Can't go anywhere because I'm going straight from my Basilisk Venom to the daze of my steel. And he's just pretty much in place. And also, after the daze of steel wears off, you'll also proc Panic Strikes, which will immobilize him for 2 more seconds. So that's pretty nice to kind of keep somebody locked down. The next combo is just going to be exactly how you see it there on the screen. Black Powder, Heart Seeker, Steel in air, and Backstab. So it's going to go just like this. Okay, that's that. And I mean, as you can see, that's a pretty strong combo as well. And you can also combo that with your Basilisk Venom and keep the target even more locked down if you'd like, but you're kind of overlapping at that point, because if you use your Basilisk Venom and also use your Steel, you're overlapping pretty much a daze and stun. And it's you know, you want to make sure you space them out a little bit so you can keep the target locked down as long as possible and maybe interrupt some stuff here and there. All right, now I want to show you some tricks that you guys may not know, especially if you're a new player. You may not understand that you could do these things when comboing your abilities together. But if you hit Black Powder and Heart Seeker out of the Black Powder, you can do it multiple times and you can go into stealth for a short duration. The easiest way to do it, and to not go the full distance of Heartseeker, you want to aim your camera down. So you want to be looking down at your character, and then you want to cast your black powder, and then you want to Heartseeker. And notice how it won't go the entire distance. I guess I did it there twice, but you could stay within a closer vicinity of your black powder, so that you can use your Heartseeker over and over inside and gain that stack of stealth. The next trick is going to be, again, utilizing black powder with blinding powder. So you hit that and you can instantly go into stealth and maybe Heartseeker out again, get a little bit of extra stacks. That's always very useful. Now you could use that with your team as well. If you have your team inside the black powder and you use the blinding powder, it'll also stealth your team, which I'll show you right now. Alright, so the blinding powder and or black powder blinding powder trick I'm going to use on these unsuspecting people that are just doing, you know, regular everyday transactions, you know. So I'm just going to black powder, blinding powder, and it only got 2 people. What's up with that? Usually it'll get anybody in the vicinity there. Another trick you guys can use is also utilizing your short bow along with black powder. So you're going to cast black powder and spam cluster bomb inside the black powder, and you should pretty much stealth everybody here. So you do it a few times and it pretty much stealths a bunch of people. So you can see a bunch of people here stealth. And that's something you can utilize very greatly with your team, especially if you want to get a nice stealth opener on the opponents. If you're coming up to a point and you just kind of want to pick, you know, your position really well and just engage them real hard out of nowhere, surprise them a little bit, it's very helpful. Alright guys, that's going to be it for the dagger pistol build guide. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was informational, and I hope you can take this build and be successful with it and have fun with it, and also maybe tailor it a little bit more to your liking and your play styles. Let me know in the comments below if you liked the build or if you changed anything that made it better. There's always room for improvement. I hope you guys can leave me a like and maybe share my video. Also, please subscribe if you want to see more videos in the future. I plan to do a few more videos of Guild Wars, and especially of Thief. I plan to go kind of through the builds that I'm having fun with and just kind of talk about them, and hopefully do some PvP montages as well. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.